Every Sunday, we had dinner with his family. One night, his mom pulled me aside and whispered, "He's not who you think he is." I thought she was joking until I found the second phone. I didn't say a word, but I let him take me to dinner anyway. Every Sunday, we had dinner with his family. It was a ritual, one of the first things I loved about Lucas. He wasn't flashy about it, just consistent, steady. Every Sunday at 6 p.m., we'd drive 20 minutes to his parents' house, a two-story colonial with string lights on the back patio and a crooked welcome mat by the front door. His mom always greeted us at the door with a soft, "There you are," and his dad nodded from the couch, usually halfway through a baseball game. Lucas brought the wine, helped set the table. He always kissed his mom's cheek, clapped his dad on the shoulder, unloaded the dishwasher like it was second nature. I dated men who forgot their own birthdays, men who couldn't keep plants alive, let alone family ties. Lucas was different. "Family first," he said once early on when I asked why we never skipped a week. "It's who I am." And I believed him, because back then it was easy to believe. He held my hand during grace, reached for the dishes I couldn't quite grab, laughed with his sisters in the kitchen while I sat at the table, learning names and inside jokes. They made space for me, his family, or so I thought. His mom asked about my work. His dad gave me book recommendations. His niece drew me a picture of a cat and asked if I'd come to her recital. It felt like something solid, like roots. The kind of thing you tuck into your back pocket and say, "Look, I've found something real." Lucas would put his arm around me during dessert, pull me into his side. Once, on the drive home, he said, "You fit here." I remember the way he said it, not dramatic, just sure, so I learned their rhythm. I started bringing dishes, made his favorite sweet potato casserole once, and his mom asked for the recipe. I bought his sister a birthday gift she mentioned in passing. I started calling his dad by a nickname he told me only close friends used. I didn't realize I was being groomed into something that wasn't real. Not yet. At that point, I still thought the life I was building was one we were building together. I trusted the neatness of it all. The order. Lucas was the first man I dated who remembered to check in when I was sick, who offered to pick up paper towels without being asked, who made a point to open my door not out of show, but out of habit. So when Sundays came, I dressed a little nicer, put on earrings, picked wines with labels I thought his mom would like. I liked the way she smiled when I handed her a bottle. I liked the way his dad asked me if I was hanging in there after rough work weeks. I liked feeling like I was becoming part of something. The truth didn't hit me all at once. It started as something small. A second too long of a pause when I said I'd met one of Lucas's coworkers. The way his sister looked at me when I laughed at one of his stories, not unkind, just tight. But I brushed it off, because that's what we do when something's almost off. We tell ourselves it's nothing, a misread, a flinch that doesn't mean pain. Then came the night that changed everything. It was after dinner. The kitchen was warm, crowded with leftovers and the soft hum of the dishwasher. Lucas had gone out back with his dad to talk about something sports, probably, and I was helping his mom pack up containers of rice and roast chicken. She handed me a lid, then paused. Her fingers brushed mine. "He's not who you think he is." It was quiet, just loud enough for me to hear over the clink of Tupperware. I laughed, reflex a little shaky. "What?" She didn't repeat herself, just closed the lid and said, without looking at me, "I hope you're paying attention." Then she handed me the container and walked back toward the dining room like nothing had happened. I stood in the kitchen alone for a long moment, holding leftovers, my mind spinning. Was it a warning? A joke? Some layered family dynamic I didn't understand? I didn't ask Lucas. I didn't bring it up. I convinced myself it was nothing. Until a week later when I found the second phone. The moment didn't feel big. It didn't land with thunder or sting like betrayal. It just sat there, quiet and strange. She handed me the lid like nothing had been said, turned her back, and went back to her wine. I stood still, my body paused in place, heart confused. I told myself she didn't mean anything by it. Maybe it was a bad joke. Maybe she'd had one too many glasses. Maybe she just meant he wasn't perfect, and I was reading too much into it. Because that's what you do when you don't want your world to tilt, you rationalize. You protect the version of your life that still makes sense. I didn't ask him about it. I couldn't. I wasn't even sure what I'd be asking. Hey, your mom told me you're not who I think you are, should I be concerned? It sounded ridiculous out loud, but that sentence wouldn't leave me. It followed me into the shower. It echoed in the back of my head when he kissed me goodnight. It became the space between us, wide and quiet. And then, about a week later, I went to grab a hoodie from the backseat of his car. We were driving to a movie. It was cold. He said, "There's one back there," as he pulled into the parking lot. I opened the door behind him and reached under the seat. Instead of fleece, my fingers brushed plastic. I pulled it out without thinking. A phone, not his, not the one I saw him use every day. This one was older, thicker, no case. The screen was dark. I held it up. "What's this?" He looked back casually, just a glance over his shoulder. "Oh, old work phone. Forgot it was even there." I nodded and put it down. That was all. I didn't ask again. I didn't press. But when he turned back around, I didn't look away. And that was the first moment I knew something wasn't right. That night, after he fell asleep, I slid out of bed and grabbed the phone from his car. It wasn't locked. The screen lit up with a flicker of notifications, not recent ones. A backlog of unsent messages, unread emails, and names I didn't recognize. The wallpaper was a picture of a mountain range I'd never heard him mention. The last email was a hotel reservation confirmation, dated 2 days before, under a different name. I didn't open anything else. Not yet. I just sat there, on the floor of my bathroom, holding the phone in both hands, feeling like I'd been handed a matchbook in a room soaked with gasoline. And I still didn't say a word. I put the phone back, exactly where I found it, re-angled it the same way, closed the car door, then I climbed into bed beside him. And when he stirred and pulled me closer in his sleep, I let him. Because sometimes silence isn't confusion. It's calculation. I didn't confront him, not yet. I made breakfast the next morning, kissed his cheek, laughed at his texts. Let him think everything was exactly how he left it. But I started watching, really watching. He said he was going to the gym. I noted the time. Said he had a client dinner. I clocked the restaurant. When he stepped out to take a call, I'd check the second phone. He always left it in the glove box, wrapped in an old pair of sunglasses in a case he probably thought looked forgotten. It wasn't just one woman, it was many. Some had names, others were just initials. The texts blurred together. "Miss you already. Same room as last time. Next weekend, you pick the place. Different cities, different time zones, one in Spanish, one in French. He had a type, and he had range. Some of the messages overlapped with our nights in. The night we watched Heat, he was texting someone else goodnight. The day I got the job offer and he took me to dinner. He'd ordered wine for someone else 2 days earlier at a rooftop bar. I found the receipt in his photos. And every Sunday, he still kissed my hand during grace. Still passed his mom the salad bowl like we were part of something sacred. I started screenshotting. Quietly, thoroughly. Created a folder on my laptop labeled Utilities. Inside it, subfolder, password protected, every piece of his other life curated and time-stamped. I didn't cry. I didn't spiral. I studied him like a man under glass. And when he told me he made dinner reservations for us, I smiled. Told him I couldn't wait. Because I couldn't, I screenshotted everything. Text threads, email confirmations, a notes app list titled Cities to Avoid. I uploaded it all to a flash drive, cheap, silver, no label. Slid it into a book on my shelf, one he never touched, and made a copy just in case. Then I put the second phone back exactly where I found it. Same sunglasses case. Same angle. I didn't want him to know I knew. Not yet. A few nights later, he surprised me with dinner plans. Candlelit. Cloth napkins. The kind of place that writes the dessert menu in cursive on a board. I let him lead me through the whole thing. He wore a blazer. Brought flowers, lilies, which I hated, but he always forgot that. Said, "You're everything I ever wanted," like it was a line he'd rehearsed. I smiled, touched his hand, sipped my wine. I was wearing the same dress I'd worn the first time he said he loved me. It felt like a fitting bookend. The waiter asked if we were celebrating anything. Lucas looked at me and said, "Just life, I guess." I laughed. That laugh people do when they're pretending not to know the punchline yet. Toward the end of the meal, he slid a small box across the table, not a ring box, thank God, a bracelet, too tight on my wrist. Beautiful, I said, but not quite my style. He looked confused for a second. Then I reached into my purse and pulled out a small envelope. Heavy cardstock, unsealed, his name on the front, written in my handwriting. I slid it across the table. "What's this?" he asked. "A thank you," I said. He smiled, leaned back. "For what?" "For showing me exactly who you are." He opened it partway, glanced at the first page, a hotel invoice with his name and hers, same date as our anniversary weekend. His face changed. Slowly, I stood up, kissed him on the cheek. "You always said you liked when I kept things classy." And then I walked out. The bracelet stayed on the table. The wine was half full. He never saw me again. The next Sunday, I didn't go to dinner. No texts. No polite excuse. No call to say I was running late. I didn't even feign illness. I just let the hour arrive without me. 6 o'clock, and the table was being set without my hands folding napkins. Someone else passed Lucas the salad tongs. Someone else filled his wineglass. But before any of that, at exactly 5:59 p.m., I sent an email. The subject line was simple: "You were right." I addressed it to his mom. No CC, no flair, just her name in the to field. The body of the email held only a single sentence and one link. "I thought you deserved to see what I saw." Dropbox folder. The folder was cleanly titled, Luca's Other Life. Inside were 37 screenshots, 11 hotel confirmation emails, 2 reservation screenshots with notes about same room as last time, 1 photo of him kissing someone else, not explicit, not scandalous, just painfully normal. A forehead kiss at a brunch table. The kind of affection you reserve for someone you know deeply. I didn't include commentary. No explanation, no arrows, no circled text, just facts. Organized, time-stamped, labeled by location. The truth didn't need a narrator. Thank you for watching. Please do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I love you all.